Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just got my Extreme Flight Extra 300 V2 from Northwest RC yesterday. I got it built overnight, and today we're going to take a quick look at the build process, and I'm going to do a maiden flight. I want to start off by talking overall build quality on this plane. Just like other Extreme Flight planes, is exceptional. Everything, no modifications required. And that's a nice thing to be able to say about an airplane where I've had so many different ARFs that I've had to do things like sand the saddle on the side or adjust the dimensions of the horizontal stabilizer so you have equidistant to the wingtips and so that everything's parallel. And I've had to grind out motor firewalls and re-drill holes. This plane went together without really any of that. The only, I would say, modification that I had to make to the plane at all was one of the wheel pants didn't want to slide up the carbon fiber landing leg, and I had to use a knife on the inside just to kind of open it up a little bit. That was about it. That's the only adjustment I had to make. A couple of key points that I really liked about this build. One of them was that they already did all of the cowl alignment for you at the shop. So they drill the holes, and on the tabs on the fuselage where the screws go in, they actually had the holes drilled in and blind nuts on the back. And I thought that was a really nice touch because it does save time. Putting on the cowl and making sure everything's aligned perfectly in the graphics, it's a little time. That's a time investment. So I was really pleased with that. Another feature about this plane that I really liked is they included a spinner. It's one of those cyclone spinners. It's got the holes cut out to help with airflow, and it's plastic, but it is an aluminum backplate. And at the end of the day, that's all I really care about. A lot of kits include spinners, but they have plastic backplates. And in my opinion, that's one of the primary causes for vibration when they're spinning. These aluminum backplates kind of resolve that and give you a nice quiet sounding front end. Regarding the motor, I chose a Sunny Sky V3. That's a 4125 515 kV. That's spinning a 16x7 XOR prop, and of course the spinner that came with the kit. The ESC is a Hobbywing 80 amp, and for the servos, I chose Emax ES 9252 micros. I did have to hog out the servo opening a little bit. These are a little too long for the openings, so that did take a little time. However, E-flite did have the servo openings already cut. All I had to do is make a little room in the balsa for those servos to mount. Also notice I used the Extreme Flight servo extension arms. These are the 1.25 inch extensions with the 25 tooth spline. That's the Futaba spline in case you're interested. On the interior, I'm running a FreeSky S6R receiver with a capacitor from the Hobbywing 80 amp ESC, and I've got Liperior 6S 4000 35C batteries. Those things weigh on my scale at 600 grams. And at that spot, I got the CG balanced exactly halfway between the recommended spot from the book, which happens to be directly over the spar. So the CG is directly on the spar, and that battery balances perfectly right in there. And it fits very neatly inside the frame underneath this crossbar and underneath the cowl up front. One of the very interesting features about these bigger Extreme Flight birds is this quick release mechanism for the wings. So you can simply lift this blade up and that wing slides right out. Very nice, very handy if you need to take your wings off when you go to the field. And then when you put it on the plane, you just drop that switch blade back over that bolt, and it pulls that wing in nice and tight. And there's a little ball bearing stop right there to keep that arm from coming loose on you while you're flying. Really neat design, very elegant, makes it super simple to change the wings. All you've got to do is disconnect your servo connector, lift that blade up, and one real nice touch with this plane, I'll put a picture in post for you so you see it, but they included a really nice little wing bag. It helps with shipping, and it's there to carry your wings to the field for you if you want. And it even has a pocket for the wing spar tube and the side force generators, which I've opted to exclude for today. I'm not going to use those today. We'll get back to those later. Another neat little feature of this plane, if you look right down there in the corner where the wire is routed, there's a little bit of a hook in the former so you can run your wires through and not have them flopping around inside the airframe. I thought that was a really cool touch too. Nice attention to detail on their part. Bottom line, the Extreme Flight Extra 300 V2 went together exceptionally well. I think the fit and finish is as good as anything I've ever touched. Everything just lines up and fits correctly on this plane, and it made assembly very easy. They take a lot of the grunt work out in terms of pre-drilling holes, removing covering where it needs to be removed. You basically just screw this one together and go. I really think the quick release mechanism on the wing is top shelf, and as far as balance and appearance goes, the covering was excellent, the balance is right on the mark. Everything about this plane just came together really well. Next up is the Maiden. I've got a little bit of wind coming right down the runway. It's kind of gentle, a little breezy, but it's not blustery, so it's not too much of a problem to fly in it. And I think it'll be a good Maiden. So hang tight, and we'll get this plane in the air. All right, it's time to get this big, beautiful plane up in the air. I've got a little bit of wind coming from the left. Bright sunlight, so I expect the colors should pop pretty well. And let's see how this one does. All right, I'm gonna do one last control system check before I take off. I expect the right aileron to come up, and it does. Oh, I'm on high rates, I need low rates. So right aileron comes up and it does. Left should come up and it does. The elevator should come up and it does. It should go down and it does. The rudder should go right and it does, and left and it goes up. Okay, so everything's good there. Here's a look at the high rates if you want to see those. I've got about 70% of expo, and then I basically kind of maximize the mechanical throw. But I think for the, taking off in Maiden, I'll be using the medium rates. So high rates for ground handling, but once I get it positioned and ready for takeoff, I'll switch over to low rates. That is a beautiful plane, I'll tell you that. I love the color scheme. That blue and orange and white, I know it's gonna look good up in the sky. It's gonna definitely pop. Okay, low rates, the stabilizer is off. I do have an S6R, but I won't use it initially at least. Now let's get it up and check the trim. Okay. We just get her flattened out, and I'm gonna give a few clicks of up and come back this way, and I'll check for the aileron or roll. And I need, looks like one click of right, and that's it. That's it. One and one. One and done. Okay, cool. All right, let's check the yaw. The way I like to do that is to fly straight up and then kill the power and see which way it drops. And it dropped just slightly to the left. I mean, just slightly to the left. So I'm gonna give it one click of right, and I will do that test one more time. All right, wind's coming from my left, so I'm just gonna work with the wind. Straight up, power's off. And it went to the left again, so a few more clicks. And some of that might be torque, because I definitely see it leaning over a little bit under power. So that might be a little bit to do with torque. But let me try it one more time. There we go, straight down. That's perfect. Okay, so it's all trimmed up. Now I want to do a stall test real quick. So let's just put it up into nose up, take the power off, add elevator, and there's the stall, straight down. Now, there's two reasons you want to do that, and I'll admit lately on my Maiden videos, I have not been doing that for you guys, and you really should. And the reason you should is there's two things you want to see. Number one, you want to see what speed does it stall, so you have a feel for it, right? You got to develop that feel, because that helps you when you're landing at how slow you can go. Here's another stall. Add elevator and straight down, nice. So that's the first reason, is you want to see what speed it occurs. And then the other reason is because you want to evaluate if you have any tip stall tendencies, which might indicate you've got a problem with mechanical alignment on your wings, or you have a weight problem or something like that. So it's a good idea to do a stall test, and that will help you, manage the plane a little better. So there we go, it's all trimmed up, and we've got an idea on the stall speed, and there she goes flying by. Looks good. One other thing I like to do, but I'm gonna do it into the wind, is I wanna do an inverted test just to see how neutral this one is and how the CG works out. So I'll turn into the wind for that, and we'll go inverted, and yep, definitely adding a little bit of up elevator. So when I set my CG on mine, if the manufacturer recommends 4 to 4.5 inches, I'll split the difference and go 4.25. So in this case, I think based on the way I like it when it's inverted, I think there's an option or an opportunity to push mine back a little bit further, because I am at that midway point of what the manufacturer recommends. And yeah, I'm definitely doing a little bit of up elevator to maintain that. Not up elevator, down elevator, pushing forward to maintain that. So I would like that to be a little more neutral. There's another test you can do, and that's to go up into a 45, flip it over and let go and see what it does. And if it comes down rapidly, that's nose heavy, and that did come down more rapid. You want it to come down kind of gradual, and that's another test you can do. And to me, this indicates that the way I have it set up right now is a little nose heavy. But you know, that's not terrible for a maiden though, especially while you're learning a plane, because it's better to be a little bit nose heavy than tail heavy. More stable that way, especially if you're dealing with wind, which I am, and if you're dealing with a light plane, which I am. Nice, very nice. One last little test I like to make is a loop. And the reason I like to do a loop is because if it tracks straight through a loop, that generally tells you that your empennage is square, and that did track straight through a loop. If you have a tail surface that's not parallel with the front wings, it won't track straight. It's just almost impossible to get those to track straight through a loop. So for that reason, I like doing a loop test as well, just to make sure that that empennage section is square. All right, well, that was pretty uneventful. I think I've got another minute or two on this one, so I'm just gonna take it and do a few more touch and goes. And I also wanna try the stabilizer out and make sure that stabilizer is working okay. So I'll get up to altitude a little bit and come into the wind. I'll set my gain on my stabilizer to about the midpoint. And then I will go ahead and activate the wind rejection mode. What you're looking for in wind rejection mode is for the computer to react to wind adjustments on the plane. So if the wind lifts a wing or, you know, pushes down on it, the computer will react to that. But that's it. It's a very temporary reaction. It doesn't hold its attitude. So that's what I call wind rejection mode. And it just makes it a little easier when you have a windy day. So you can see the wind. You can't see it. It looks calm, but it is a little blustery. And so wind rejection mode, really nice for moments like this. And yeah, I'm purposely turning right a little bit because I don't want to lift off directly into the sun. It's already challenging enough with the sun where it sits. All right, guys, that wraps up my maiden flight and build review on the Extreme Flight Extra 300 V2. I hope you like the material, and if you do, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when new videos hit the channel. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy. Hey, if you like the work I do here on RC Video Reviews, please consider joining me on Patreon. For about the price of a cup of coffee, you can help me keep making videos just like this one. If you'd like to help out, there's a link in the description and on your screen.